So today's meditation will be on forgiveness, and uh, forgiveness is a really interesting practice. It's a practice for yourself. When we do forgive, we're not actually doing it for anyone else or forgiving anyone else. It's a self-love practice, and I'll explain more as we get on here. But a lot of times we hold an energy around somebody or something. Sometimes it's a organization, but most of the time it's a person, maybe even sometimes their parents, siblings, yes, children even sometimes. Um, Spouses are a large source of angst that we could forgive. Um, so today, just as we do go into the meditation, I'd like you to focus on one person in particular, and we're gonna go through some steps. There's about 8 or 6 steps of forgiveness, and we're going to go through them. And you can take this with you. So in the beginning, I'm just going to talk through the steps, and if you want to take notes, that's perfectly okay. So you can do this after in your own time, and with somebody else. So today I'd like you to focus on one person in particular. So pick someone that you're thinking of, and this as I was saying, forgiveness, we hold this energy, or a grudge, or feelings that somebody has wronged us. And so when we hold on to that, you may have heard the phrase holding a grudge is like taking poison and hoping your enemy dies. And that's exactly what is happening when we do hold that grudge, and we really hold an energy, a negative energy towards somebody else. And because that other person actually has no clue that you're holding on to this energy. They're off living their lives, doing whatever, totally unaware that you're holding this anger. And sometimes we think by holding this anger that we're going to affect them in some way, like that their lives are being affected, or they're going to pay the price because I feel this way about them. And it's just not true. Most people don't know that there's even a problem, that you even have these feelings a lot of the time, because a lot of the time when we're holding these feelings, we don't express them, or else they would release. And so that's in a nutshell, why we really truly do want to forgive, because we're holding on to this energy. We don't need it. It's causing our body havoc in the way of it's festering inside us, and that actually affects our biological body. It affects our cells. It affects our health, and yeah, and it's like the saying says, like taking poison and hoping the enemy dies. And the effects of holding that energy is like taking poison, because your body starts to deteriorate, your cells start to deteriorate. So yeah, it's a great practice to have forgiveness for those who you feel have wronged you, and you can do it quite, as often as you like. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. And you don't have, it doesn't, when you do forgive somebody, you're not saying that whatever happened was okay. You're not you're not acknowledging that, you know, whatever this other person did, or this, you know, the entity or company, the government, or whoever you're angry with, you're not saying it's okay. You're just absolving yourself from holding on to any energy around it, in turn freeing you up, and freeing you up to be free and have your joy and have your peace, because that's what this holding a grudge or holding that energy robs us of, is our peace and our joy. So the first step is think of someone in particular for tonight's meditation. And then secondly, we're going to create the scene. So it's step 2. If you're taking notes, we're going to create the scene. And so it could be like a basketball court. You know, if someone called you fatso on the basketball court and you're still holding a grudge or some energy around that, make your created setting in your mind, make that a basketball court, or make it a meadow with a babbling brook or a stream. Make it somewhere that's conducive to you letting go, and also having that other person energetically in that scene. So when you create the scene, we're going to want to also have a guide. So ask for within yourself for your guide to show up there. So if it's the basketball court, just allow your guide to be just off in the background, maybe off to the right shoulder, and allow it to have whatever form suits you. It could be a bird. It could be like an energetic body. Could be your idea of God. Could be a panda bear. And just get that clear in your mind. So we'll go through this in the actual meditation, and we'll get clear on what your guide looks like, feels like, and I'm going to let somebody else in. Just get allow that guide to take on a personality, and so I'll guide you through that when that time comes. Number 3, we're gonna completely feel the anger that we did from the original incident. So, you know, most likely there's an incident behind the angst you have against this person. Hello, Dana. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, sorry, I couldn't connect or couldn't find the link. Sorry for being late.
No problem. I'm going to mute you. I just started to talk about the process we're going through, but you haven't really missed much. So
okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So the third step will be to really feel this anger, and to really allow it to flow into your body. If you have to release, you know, if you want to scream into a pillow, everyone's muted here, and no one can see you on camera. And so if you want to scream into a pillow, or you want to punch your hands, or you know, stomp your feet, or bang the table, whatever you energetically need to do, this is your chance to do it. This is your I welcome you to express that. Once again, no one can hear you, no one can see you, so I like pillows. Pillows are great. And other people in the house can't hear you as well. Yeah, so just really feel that pain, and it's important to go through that step, because energetically something shifts in our body as we biologize, like in our physiology. as we express in that way, um, our physiology changes, and there is a release. There, our cells start to vibrate differently. Um, we just feel different, and there feels it feels as if there's a release. So um, that's a step I'd love for you guys to practice. And if you don't want to do it, that's okay as well. Um, just at least feel the emotions, feel the discomfort that you felt in the initial um, incident. So Dana, the first step here was imagine the person that you want to forgive. So I've asked everyone to pick a person that they want to forgive, and maybe even an incident where something happens, or when something happened. So a person, an incident. Um, the second step is to create the setting. So I'll guide you through this, but we're gonna create a setting where the forgiveness is gonna take place. And thirdly, I was just talking about feeling your feelings, feeling the anger, feeling the pain, and acting out, physically releasing, screaming, whatever you need to do. Step 4 is whenever whenever we do have something that we're not happy with, something happens, the universe bumps us a little bit and sets us off track, and we feel like, oh, this negative thing happened to me. um, it's sometimes we look back on it, and years later, it's such a positive event. It's because of that, that what we considered bad at the time, um, 3 years later, it was sometimes the best thing that ever happened to us. It sort of knocks us back into, maybe our soul's path, or what we're meant to be doing, or maybe we were getting too far off destiny our destiny path, and we get knocked back on this path, but it's jarring sometimes, and sometimes it seems negative at the time. So we're in step 4, we're gonna look back at this incident or this person and ask ourselves, what did we learn from it? Um, what did we learn? What did we glean from that interaction, from that exchange of energy? How did your life change in a way, for the better? Like, because all actions have a reaction, and even in the reaction, it's not all good or all bad. So we can find both. So I'd like you to look for that. And then we're going to, step 5 is we're going to go into what that person was feeling. So the person that we had this exchange with, what do you think that person was feeling? Because there's a saying that hurt people, right? So whatever you know of this person, maybe their background, how they grew up, what are the wounds that they're walking around with, um, and what was happening for them in that moment where you felt offended, or hard done by, or whatever you felt, um, the incident that you want to forgive, or the person you want to forgive. Just put yourself in their shoes, just and just have a real understanding of what they could be going through, and some of it we're actually gonna imagine. We may not know all of it. And then in that, and then the final step is step 6. Well, the final step for this process is step 6. We're going to have another step after that, but in this step is, and then we absolve them of any wrongdoing, and we energetically give them a hug in our mind's eye, or energetically we're gonna take them in our arms and truly, like, heart to heart, forgive them. And then after that hug, we're gonna look for our guide, or look back at our guide and ask our guide if we have truly forgiven them. And sometimes it takes sometimes you won't truly forgive someone in one session or one sitting. So it may take. So that's why I was telling you, you could take notes here of these 6 steps. So you could do it again, and because you want to check in with that guide, and that guide truly is your inner self, your inner knowing, really. But we're giving it a character here. We're giving it a personality, but in all reality, it's your own inner knowing. And when you check in with that guide, you'll know whether you truly forgave this person or not. And it's perfectly okay if you don't feel you completely forgave them, because forgiveness is a process. And then I'll end with a little bit about what's happening in the soul realm, in this interaction, in this relationship. And then truly understanding that nothing wrong ever happened. It was an act, and what we made it mean is what we're holding on to as well. Okay, so I'd like you to get comfortable. I'm going to turn some music on, and we'll begin. And this process will be approximately 20 minutes, I'd say, and then I'll talk a little bit at the end, but I think we'll be done before the hour is up. Okay, so I'd like you to just get comfortable here. And just start to notice your breath. And for this meditation, I'd like you to breathe in and out through the nostril. And see if you can notice the sensations of the breath in your nostrils. See if you can notice the coolness of the inhale, the warmth of the exhale. And just see if you can visualize that breath. Imagine it coming in as this misty white light. And just see if you can see it coming in through your nostrils and flowing down your windpipe. Just follow it into your lungs. And as you exhale, follow it back up the windpipe and down your nostrils. And as it's coming into your lungs, just realize that this is nourishing your body. This beautiful white light mist is coming into our bodies, and it knows exactly where to go. It knows exactly what to do. It has this infinitely organizing wisdom. And from our lungs, it fuels our cells and our blood, fuels the oxygen in our blood, which gets pumped throughout the body. So it's all this intelligent energy is reaching every cell in our body as it's being pumped through the river of life. And as it flows through your body, just start to let go of anything that you're holding on to, anything that's not serving you. And just allow this to flow out with your out breath. Imagine that out breath being a gray mist. And the body feels completely relaxed. And all those areas that were a little stiff, or where we were holding on to some energy, all has loosened up. It just releases with our out breath. Now in your mind's eye, just imagine that the person you want to forgive just see them in all their detail, the way their hair looks, what they're wearing, the expression on their face. Just vividly see them clearly in your mind with as much detail as possible. And now place them in the setting. So this is a setting that you're creating in your mind. Like I said before, it could be where this event took place that hurt you, or it could be like by a beautiful meadow with a stream running through it. To just create that setting and place this person in that setting. And as you see them in this setting, just allow that anger, the hurt, the pain to come up inside you. Start to truly feel the pain that you felt when this event took place. Maybe it was shock, and the pain came later. Maybe it's rage that's coming up inside you, and if you need to clench your fists or grit your teeth, allow yourself to do that. It's perfectly okay to do that. It's perfectly safe to do that. If you'd like to scream in a pillow, I would encourage that. Just feel that anger bubbling up as you're looking at this person in the setting that you've created. Just allow yourself to feel that pain, feel that anger. If you need to pound your fist on the table, it's okay to come out of your relaxation right now and just feel, release that energy. Okay, we'll settle back in. And you'll notice in this scene that your guide is with you. And this is one of your guides who's there to support you, to be witness, and just allow this guide to take on a personality. This guide is going to be with you through this process. It's just going to be off behind you, off to your left or right shoulder. And maybe this guide is a little bird, or it's a giant panda bear. Or it's just this body of light. Just get that image clear in your mind of your guide. And now think of the years since the event, or maybe it hasn't been years, but the time since the event. And just ponder, I invite you to ponder the good that came from this event or from this person. Or from the incident. Sometimes life takes a left turn. And we start to blame another for that left turn. And then miles down the road, we realized, oh, this is the way I was supposed to be going. See if any thoughts like that come up, or any ahas that show up as you think about how your life has changed for the positive because of this person or because of this incident. Now I'd like you to move into what this person may have been feeling. So in that interaction, or in a series of interactions towards you, what do you think that person was feeling? As I said earlier, hurt people hurt people. What wounds was this person carrying? What happened in his or her childhood? Could this person have been acting out of fear? And maybe this person was bullied at one point, or bullied. And maybe that's who you're wanting to forgive. Think about how this person may have been raised, and what their parents were like, and what their family was like. A lot of times we carry energy that's not even our own. There's energetic systems that get passed down from generation to generation. Energy, anxiety, one just wonder what energies this person may have been carrying from their lineage. And now I'd like you to take on the notion that whatever happened was exactly that, just something that happened. And there was actually nothing wrong with what happened, except for the meaning we give it. So often incidences take place, and for the same incident, 3 different people will have 3 different meanings. And all that is based on our beliefs and how we view life. So the incident itself doesn't have a meaning, except for the one we give it. And a lot of times we bring that meaning onto us because someone did this. It means that I'm not, whatever you want to fill in there. Or we project whatever we're feeling with meanings onto them, onto this incident. So I'd just like to invite you to ponder the notion that nothing really wrong happened. Now I'd like to move up to the soul level and what's happening at the soul level, at the spiritual level. Could it be possible that your soul and this person's soul made a contract before you incarnated here on Earth to bring up this energy so that you could see it, you could feel it, and you could heal it? We often have soul contracts with many people. We make an agreement before we incarnate to pull out whatever lessons we want to learn here, whatever we want to heal here. As we already come into this world with holding an energy and a energetic print. Part of our job here is to experience life, but also to heal the wounds of our lineage. And sometimes we select certain people to come help us. And as they bring up this anger and rage in us, it's an opportunity for us to heal what is underneath that anger and that rage. And usually what's underneath that anger and rage is feelings of guilt, shame, not being enough. And the people with soul contracts with us are here to start to point that out to us. So I invite you to entertain that possibility. And now I'd like you to face this person and look deep into their eyes. And truly see them for who they truly are, with all their history, with all their background and a possible soul connection. Reach out and take them in your arms. And just allow your heart to completely open as you give them this virtual hug. Allow your heart to be open. Allow your mind to be open. Just realize there may be a lot more going on that we can understand in this moment. We can only see in 3 dimensions. We live in a 4-dimensional world. And atoms pop in and out of reality all the time. So what's happening there? Do we fully understand what's happening? Not really. Now I just want you to step back from this person, and we're gonna, there's a song, it's called Ho'oponopono prayer. It's actually a prayer, it's a Hawaiian prayer. And I'll tell you the quick story. It's this a prison worker or a mental institution doctor came into an institution where they just couldn't keep the staff because the patients were just too wild and too dangerous. So he came in, he didn't see any patients at all, but he looked at their files and he said this prayer to the files. And after a few months, the patients there start to get better. They start to behave. Some of them even left the institution. But the place, it became a wonderful place to work with this beautiful energy. And the prayer that he said was, sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And he was taking that responsibility of creating this environment upon himself. So he was asking for their forgiveness, because the nature of reality is we create our reality, and it's our collective consciousness that creates even negative things. So he took on the responsibility and every day looked at different files and said, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And he took full responsibility. So we're going to face this person that we want to forgive, and we're just going to repeat those words. We'll do it about 4 or 5 times. You can say it out loud if you like, or you can say it in your mind. I'll just go ahead. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And just take a deep breath in here. And just look back at your guide. And just energetically ask, have I truly forgiven this person? And you'll get your answer. And if there's still some things to forgive, that's perfectly okay. But now you have the technique and the methodology to do it. You can do this practice whenever you like. It's free. It's available for all of us. And you can do it with as many people you like. I mean, for as many people you like. And with. So I just want you to take a couple of deep breaths here. Just notice the sensations of the breath on your nostrils. And invite you to move your body in any way you feel like, any way that feels comfortable. And on the count of 3, I'll ask you to open your eyes and you'll be completely refreshed. Feel like a new person. 1, 2, 3. You can open your eyes. Aware. Completely refreshed. Just let out whatever sound you want to let out now. And that's the end of the meditation.